Celestial rising, divine noon, and grand night to the beautiful deity watching this video. It's a divine reflection, divine messenger. We are back with another message and understand. Before we get into this, if you choose to, if you enjoy this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more divine messages. Now, as for today, we have something a little bit different, but not necessarily, but it's still a teaching. Either way it goes, it's just information. And all I'm here to do is provide information for you. So there is no truth, there is no lies in this teaching that's going to be taught for today. Now, of course, I'm also going to screen record this teaching, but this came from a supporter who was just asking questions. And, I just want to say, I really enjoy the people that do ask me questions, because it's like, a part of me does definitely enjoy just doing like my own research and then just coming up with my own opinion or perspective. So the fact that many of you look forward to seeing that and hearing that, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. Slow down. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you for even taking time out of your day to just even want to listen to that. So thank you. That message was dedicated to you and just anybody else who is tuned in with these messages. So that's exactly why we got destiny and free will, and then balancing and growing up spiritually, and then there's examples for the two of them. But I title that because destiny and free will don't know their own existence, because for one, these are nothing but, once again, it's just simply put, we don't have to go too deep into a rabbit hole, because we can just bring it to the surface, but going deep enough to get you to really think about the words that are placed in front of your face. Because don't forget, this is still all sorcery, it's all spell casting anyways, just because this is not our language. So we had to dumb ourselves down from telepathy to even comprehend ignorance like this, because we were never taught. Like, this is disgusting. Majority of our words sound like we speaking in tongue, sound like we speaking in, I ain't gonna call it satanic frequency, but you can correlate it to that basically, or integrate it to that. Because we gotta remember too that these deities that do practice Satanism, just going deeper into their whole society of Jesus as well, and just many other secret societies that hold secrets, they were able to give us those certain, I'll say, directions on where our parents and our great-grandparents and our ancestors were going to navigate when it came down to information. Because even back in these different time periods, they weren't understanding where they were guiding themselves into, because they were too unconscious into what they were wanting to be awakened. But once you got many other, let's say, characters who are spewing out certain religious, let's say, ideologies and philosophies as well, once they're doing this groundwork behind closed doors, people who are in these communities or in these neighborhoods, who are in these different towns, they're not actually in the town square, they're not in the capital, they're not with talking to the higher orders of their neighboring villages, or whatever the case may be. You're not talking into those back rooms. So once these back rooms are being talked about, and there's different deities who are of a higher status, once they're in those rooms with them, you don't know what frequency they're placing upon the rest of the people down below in the village, because they're too high up on a certain pyramid of the head of the order. So by these higher orders, they're not going to be your typical people that you're going to come across. So to correlate that to the Georgia Guidestones, let me go and record this. So, alright, so yeah, shout out to the supporter Georgie. So have you heard of Georgia's Guidestones? Opinion, thoughts. So before we get into the rest of what he said, let's get into what I was just looking up. Alright, so we gotta understand too. So it's a massive granite monument exposing the conservation of mankind and future generations. Sources for the sizable financing of the project choose to remain anonymous. And you know why that is. Because if they told you the reason on why they were placed, then they would have to expose all the lies that are going to be correlated to the rabbit hole of the Georgia Guidestones. That's exactly why they had to eliminate them. Because these people, they're observing our consciousness. That's why GTA 6 is happening right now. So everything that's going on, you can literally just play when a game comes out on a console, but you don't have to play on a console to play your life. Just live in it. You're living in GTA 6, no matter, like, you're living in all GTA mindsets anyway. So because of that, the wording of the message proclaimed on the monument is in 12 languages, including Arabic of Sanskrit, Babylonian, cuneiform, Egyptian hieroglyphs, and classical Greek, as well as English, Russian, Hebrew, Arabic, Hindi, Chinese, Spanish, and Swahili. And the guides followed by explanatory precepts are as follows. The words here are exactly as the sponsors provided them. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Now it means the entire human race at its climax level for permanent balance with nature. And I understand too that, so the key word when I was looking this up, researching it, humanity, that to me means human consciousness unified. That's exactly why they put the unity after human. So humans are unified. Once humans become unified, like, so basically speaking from my interpretation, when the more people begin to awaken, basically, because for one, we're society. You know, like we're society, like we're socially unified, but we're not actually unified through the human perception. You feel what I'm saying? So when I say socially unified, we're connected through social media apps. So that will keep us in society. So like that's exactly why people are stuck in society. They're stuck in that programming of society's programming of like what they want you to keep up with that they can't keep up with. So people who don't have a personality, people who don't know themselves, they're basically unplayable characters. You're just a programmed deity who was brought here to give out service level information. Not even service level information, but your whole lifestyle. I was looking at the screen too, making sure this TV was cutting off for the time, but it's whatever though. Just being conscious. But anyways, back to the awareness. Once these people are not conscious of what they're actually supposed to be doing as far as information, because life is nothing but a frequency or a radio station, and they're not able to put in that frequency or that sound wave into getting themselves into a higher frequency because they're stuck in their lower ways. Because for one, they're actually still believing that they don't have a destiny or free will. So the thing is, it's not the fact that these Georgia Guidestones are telling us that we're not going to make it, but they're telling you you're not going to make it. The more billions of people are becoming more awakened. And then we're not just talking about any awakening, because there's a difference between being woke, sleep, and awake. And the thing, I hate those terminologies because you cannot be, there's no such thing as being woke when you're neither woke nor awake. You are literally asleep in the moment of your awakening. So every single time you awaken, you still go back to sleep. It's a temporary feeling of dopamine, not just dopamine, but it's a feeling that you had to think highly of yourself to even be and to think that you are awakened. Because even though you are awakening, you're still going to lie to yourself, because this dimension is revealing spells to you that people are not able to knock down every single day. Every single day is literally just a spell casting spell. And it gets stronger and stronger because humanity is not able to be where it's at. So that's exactly why when they knocked that bitch down, they were telling us that if humanity goes, like, if they become unified consciously in the collective consciousness, and they are unified by being in the divine oneness, then that to me means that once billions and billions of people start coming together, we have to start killing them off. Because if we start getting our consciousness together and we start becoming awakening to knowing that I am that I am, once we understand the God within ourselves, then we're passing that same exact teaching to our bloodline. And because of that, once that happens, now it's like our bloodline will pass the same exact teachings on. They don't want that. So that's why I feel like they knocked down that message, because of that. Guide reproduction wisely and provide or improving fitness and diversity. Without going into detail as yet undiscovered, this means humanity should apply reason and knowledge into guiding its own reproduction. Fitness could be translated as health, and diversity could be translated as variety. Okay, so even more teachings too. So basically this is like, the guide stones literally is like exactly what it says. It's a guide. Somebody or someone or beings put guides on a stone in many different languages so that people can understand the one unified perspective for us to come together. That's literally like, that's my discernment right now, because I haven't walked up to the guide stone to actually tell you what it's saying, but I'm going off of what this website's telling me. So, and the thing is too, I still don't believe it, because I don't believe shit in this world full of illusions anyways, because I would have to believe that. But if I'm reading it, then I know the contradiction to this contradiction right here. You feel me? So they're basically telling me in this perspective right here, you being fit, it can diversify who you should be around. When you're healthy minded, you won't want to be around demons. So that to me is basically a spiritual and a physical message also, because mentally you don't want to be around people who are stuck in their lower weight. Like they're not providing any, I say variety too, in a sense to where they're so diverse in the people who are healthy minded that they don't feel as if they can reach that type of level, but they're not working hard for it. So they're already thinking less of themselves. So you don't have to worry about them because they don't actually care about themselves per se. But a person who's thinking highly of themselves spiritually, now it's just like, okay, We gotta knock this down also, because this is basically how they're able to guide you through reproduction. As far as it, even if it's not reproduction, as far as health as well, because they're telling you you have to improve your health in order to improve your wealth. Not just your wealth, but the wealth that goes beyond when you're gone as well. So you want to be, your family should depend, not even depend on you, but they can depend on you, determining on how far you even make it in life. Even when you're out of this existence, they will be thankful that you even did what you did for them, because you were guiding them just by being yourself and just working for yourself, towards yourself, for a better you every single day. So once you're even becoming healthy in your bloodline, your genetics, and you have a woman or a man who's on the exact same frequency as far as health, that to me means that you're not thinking in your lower ways anymore, because you think highly of yourself. Okay, I want to look better today. I want to work out so I can get my body looking better, my chest, my arms, my shoulders, whatever, right? So because of that, that means that once you improve that and you procreate with someone and you come together to your senses as one, man and woman coming to one together to reproduce wisely, that means that they had to knock that down too, because if you start questioning what these words are saying, then you'll understand why they had to knock down this perspective also. Because once we started awakening, now it's like we become united, because even the third one, unite humanity with a living new language. A living language grows and changes with advancing knowledge. A new language will be developed de novo and need not necessarily be adapted from any languages now in existence. So, and the thing is too, this new language, right? But the thing is, why are we, to me, the new language could be, I feel like it's a mindset now. Because there's many languages, just basically many interpretation of tongues. But if a human knew that it could, if you knew you can drive on a highway, which you're really not, but if you know you're driving on the highway or the freeway or the expressway, or the main road, if you knew that, and then if you knew that you could also use telecommunication pathways in your mindset, so your neurons can connect with somebody else's neurons that are also connected into this ether or this etheric thought of thoughts. If you can connect your higher self into that programming or that wiring system, just like how your phone has 5G, 4G, whatever, right? If you can use your antennas, your head, your hair, your ears, your eyes, your spirit, then you can also communicate with someone outside of the need of language. So you can hear a different channel of sounds, to where you don't have to pick up a phone anymore. You don't have to use your mouth anymore to communicate, because you have your mindset. And people can read your thoughts, determining if you pick up the call though. Because, you know, of course, it's like turning on the distance too. That communication gets cut off depending on if somebody's not strong-minded. But that's just how I'm interpreting a living new language. Because it's like, what other language do we need in this world? We got many other countries, continents, many other people, tribes, people, or even ethnicities that already have their own language. So what other language is there to talk about, when we got all different interpretations of tongues to talk in and talk to things about that we already have discussed in many different opinions through different tongues or spells or wordplay? That means that this new language will not be talked about. It's in the mind. That's just how that. Maybe I'm crazy though for thinking that. But that I'm neither right nor wrong. I'm gonna say it like that. It's all information. That's just how I see it though. Because what language do we have to talk about? But we ain't never talked about telepathy or telekinesis. Rule, so we're on the fourth one. Rule, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Faith here may be used in a religious sense. Too often people are ruled by blind faith even when it may be contrary to reason. Reason must be tempered with compassion here, but must prevail. So rule, so faith, tradition, all things with tempered reason. And the thing is to me, I just feel like once you have faith in what you're giving your energy to, that's what keeps the tradition alive. So no matter what, it's like even with faith, there's no such thing as faith, but that's what keeps you faithful, because you spiritually, you already know that the thing that you have faith in is literally what faith was already destined to be, because it was willingly falling you for free. Because if you really, now how I'm thinking about it too, when you have faith, it's because you know that you're protected. You know that you're always guided by a higher power, higher, whatever you want to call God. You know that you're guided by a higher observer, because to me, God's the observer. So that's what I would call God, an observer. you know you're protected by that because you're doing things to please the spirit. You're not doing things to please your flesh anymore because it's like, fuck the flesh. Like, these certain things feel good, but what you know, you keep having faith in. So it's like somebody could be making, like, doing something for years. They may not have faith in what they're doing, so they don't know that their life can be changed. But when they change their mindset every single day, they know that today would be the day. Today would be the day. Today would be the day. And they don't get down on themselves because, for one, that's their destiny. Because even with free will, we gotta understand that, for one, people choose to not have a destiny. People choose to not have a purpose. People choose to not have faith in the Almighty Creator because they don't know the Almighty Creator. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Courts must consider justice as well as law. And the thing is, too, even though we are interpreted to knowing that we are not above the law as humanity, but once we come together, we are also above the law because, for one, the laws that are governed against our mindsets, they don't even follow. So how can you make rules and laws when you don't even follow your own rules and laws that you made for us? On top of that, why are you governing subconscious mindsets? That makes me wonder how sinister y'all can be if y'all required rules and laws, because if we're made in your image because they made the image of God because they wrote about it through spell casting. So if we go deeper into the rabbit hole, if y'all were able to come up with the spell casting, doesn't matter who they are because they don't come as what we think they are. So when they interpreted that teaching for us, that I'm tongue twisted, but when they did that for us, what did we believe in before language became a thing? We didn't know what destiny and free will was till they came up with these titles that we think we're entitled to. It should just make you think about that. Like, they create the laws and the courts and the justice system. So you do what they say or else. But there are some people who need to be governed by the law because you're out here killing 5 people just because you're having a bad day. You need to go to prison for that. Driving under the influence, you need to go to prison for that. So yeah, let all nations rule. That's just how I see it. So we should be protected, but I don't feel like, yeah, most of our laws are even, like, we ain't gonna get deep into that. But I just don't feel like we're protected. That's how I see it. And the deeper people become unified, that's when we'll understand how protected we have to be in numbers, because we outnumber them, but we still fear them. Like, just imagine if a group of carbon beings were to storm the Capitol. That's a massacre, blood ritual, on TV, and people will be praising it. That's how crazy our country is. They don't have faith in God. You upset with another skin color because you were made in that image, and you still don't understand the enlightenment to that image. That's the opposite of your abstract color. So you have nothing but a void of hatred inside of you, and you are swallowed up by it because you are not full or with yourself as a whole unit of humanity. That's why we can't come together, because racism divides us because that was someone's destiny. And people choose that by believing in free will. So those two, if niggas believe that their destiny is to be racist, and which is some people's destiny, then they will freely and willingly choose to walk that path. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. So internally, the thing is too, people are not in tune with their energy. That's exactly why people are not able to just actually project into these rooms and see what they're doing behind these court cases. Let me make sure we're still recording. Okay, cool. But, so I gotta make sure too, like my phone may cut off, setting. You know how iPhones get with storage, and I don't got time for that. But now, so ruling internally means that all these nations, they have their own court system, obviously. And I think a world court just means to me that you have a bunch of courts and jesters, you have a bunch of people who believe that they're in a higher order of politicians or political monopoly, and they're just playing a game amongst a game of gamers. And so you have a boss that these players have to go against in this court depending on what they did in this reality. So ruling internally is like a thing that for us, that's like why we have these disputes in the external world, because they're telling us right here, let all nations internally resolve their issues. And if you have an issue, speak about it on the outside. Let them see you ruling, or let them see how somebody tried to overthrow your rule on the internal aspect of your spirit, because these people, for one, they're all awakened. And these people are in these politics, political figures, these higher orders, or just companies, or just oligarchies in general. They're already in tune with their energy because they're playing a game that we don't have no participation in unless you sacrifice yourself. So now that's just how I see it. Individual nations supposed to be free to develop their own destinies at home as their own people wish, but cannot abuse their neighbors. And yet our neighbors are still getting abused. But now people understood that because a lot of people are too egotistical and narcissistic because they think that what goes on in their household, it's just not realistic outside the outside world of their household, because they don't think that people are going through this or people are going through that, because what they see at home is just, it's glorified. So they're not able to see the outside perspective of the world of enlightenment because they're too ignorant to see that perspective in the light bearers barren of land that we're living in under a dome, that this light bearer is observing in the vacuum of our mind in ignorance, literally. So that light in the sky, what you think that is? You think it's the sun? Doesn't exist. The sun doesn't even know that it's the sun. But then they call you the son and daughter of your mom and your dad. So what are you the light of? I create the peace and the light, the dark and the night. And that's not even a Bible verse, but it's a Bible verse. Almighty told you. And they telling you in these things too, so if people understood that, they would go crazy once they awaken. But then if they destroy this stuff, which they did, then people won't care. They destroyed it, people made a little outrage, but now nobody talks about it no more. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Self-explanatory, literally. Avoid petty laws, but yet and still, like for example, I just feel like as if like marijuana, like people should not get arrested for that. Even like child support, there's so many things, like implications that go on with that. But I just feel like people who get got with that whole situation too, going to court for that is literally just like, that's just so, some of it is stupid, but then some of it's just like, what are we doing? Going to court for just little shit, like avoid that. You don't have to sue somebody just because they hit the back of your car. You got like a little scratch, so you can get that fixed, you straight. But people want some money. And it's useless to even go to court for that. So I can see why it's self-explanatory. That's really petty. And you never know what somebody's going through. Like, they didn't mean to hit your car, but they just probably having a bad day, bro. Like, now the thing is too, depending on how bad the bump is, I ain't gonna lie, if my shit falling off, you paying for that. I don't care how broke you are. But if it's good, nigga, like, bro, you straight, nigga. Like, there's better things to do instead of complaining about you hitting the back of my car. Like, nah. Balance personal rights with social duties. Individuals have a natural concern for their personal welfare, but man is a social animal. They telling you we are social beasts. That's why motherfuckers gossip so much. And must also be concerned for the group. Failure of society means failure for its individual citizens. And the thing is, are we not going through failure right now? Because who are we following as society or as animals? If we are marked by beasts, and what does that make us? Why is there bestiality in categories that are free for kids to watch and teenagers to watch as well? And must also be concerned for the group. So it's like, even, I feel like even still, failure to me don't exist either, because for one, most people are, their destiny is born to be a failure. So it's like, even with this, that people don't even know their rights because they don't know their social duties. And the thing is too, just look it up. But people don't know that, so they don't know how righteous their rights could save them whenever an officer or an official comes to just, they come to your crib with no warrant. So now they freely are willing to do whatever they want because they choose to, because you are unconscious to their enlightenment that they follow and that they study and that they know. And they can take advantage of you for that and put you into a place where you don't know how to use decision making because you believe you still got free will into that. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. The infinite here means the supreme being. So they even telling you, they're actually using a different name for God, because whatever this deity did, it knew that this loving supreme being is loving in a world full of hate. That's the true path of righteousness, by knowing the infinite love, expansion of unity, by being unified in one dimension. And that's beyond 5D teachings at this point. Because 3D to 5D, you're forming yourself into being unified. Like, you're going through the integration of being correlated by being aligned. Once you go past alignment, once you start becoming, I say you just start loving yourself again, you start transcending love, you go above and beyond that, That's when you're able to now go into a higher dimension of what love actually feels like. To the point where you have to cry because you know the feeling of love now. To where you walk around in a demonic realm and you know you're still protected because you're just that radiant of the Almighty God's infinite love. So they telling you in this one right here too, whose will is manifesting the workings of the cosmos if we will seek for it. So they even so they had that probably to me is the main one right there. Then that shit say prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite, seeking nothing but purity and love with the infinite creator. They ain't even say God once again. They say infinite. So they put in duality on the stones. And then you wonder why they knocked it down. And this was on there to be exact. But people don't know because they won't look it up anymore. Telling you that if you mentally get into the cosmos or the cosmic realm, past the Akashic records, like once you go into the Akashic records, go into the library section because there are many sections of information that's infinite. Once you go into that accessing base or database of your DNA when you go to bed at night, then transfer your energy into the Akashic, not just Akashic, I said Akashic, but the cosmic realms in the Akashic records database. So go into that section of the cosmic realm and study the cosmos, how it was made, how it was formed, why it was formed, what deities are there, what projection comes from that enlightenment, what's the service level, let's say, construction of that realm of articulation. Like how can you articulate that realm into this 3D dimension? Because for one, we're going past the 5D at this point, because once you go to 5D to 9D, we're talking cosmic, astral, etheric, we're talking quantum expansion of consciousness. So your mind has to go beyond the dimension of what love is, because love is not just a thing that you can describe. You can't describe love because it's a choice. So to me, love is both of these, and that's ugly. In a world full of hate, we got destiny and free will. We choose to still do love because our destiny is made of love anyway. So our Creator chose subconsciously to love us in a world full of hate. So when people hate you, they still love you, but they just choose to unconsciously reflect their hatred onto how much they love you. They just don't know how to tell you that. So they telling us that once you find beauty and love within yourself, you're literally working with divinity at its infinite expansion. And they knew that. They had to knock that down. Be not a Cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. They said it 2 times. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Telling you stop building on fucking land. Stop creating this land because people are so greedy now. They see openings of just land and trees and grass, so they have to put some property on that land so they can bring money coming into their character development. Not knowing that we are not leaving room for nature. We're literally living in idiocracy. There'll be no such thing as parks, nature, trees, the way that we're just building on top of our mother's nature. So we're literally digging into our mother's roots. We are killing her, watching her bleed through the soil as the soil turns red, and then replacing nothing but a bunch of structures. And I say too, the kingdom of heaven is within us. So they're building an antichrist structure in a physical simulation, but spiritually these structures never existed because it's not a part of our destiny. But physically, that's a destiny of an antichrist frequency. And then this is if people, want to go and read that. So yeah, I just found this on EGA online. So, if you want to go and tap into that, that's just how I feel about these Georgia Guidestones to answer that question. All right, now let's get into the second part. Sheesh. I've been to a psychic and she told me very interesting things once. Next year, she kind of said the same things, opinions also. Like she gets things about my past and my present and future hopes that basically only my closest people to know some I didn't even know. And she even said something that has been stuck in my mind for a while. She said, you will doubt my words, but you will look at the sky someday and think about me when you see a star and know that I was right. And that at that moment, I didn't doubt her for a second, but a year later, I'm beginning to doubt. That's the problem. What's the problem? I mean, it's your fault that you're beginning to doubt her words because, for one, she's projecting because she didn't even believe her own words because her spirit already felt what she was talking about. That's why you're beginning to doubt, because you weren't seeing her destiny, because you unconsciously chose to just hear her words and believe them. But if you know her spirit, you know that whenever you look up in the sky, whatever day, and you think about her and you see this star flashing, this image or a mirage flashing, because a star is nothing but an image or projection of how bright your ignorance is. Literally, it's a contradiction. Stars don't exist. So know that she was right, because when she's right, she's still left. On top of that, she's not right or left, so she's not right or correct, or she's not correct or wrong. She's just speaking in terms of the now. Like, just know she will be there. She's literally your reflection. She's telling you about herself through you. So you're doubting yourself through her, and you're gonna blame her for it because you weren't hearing or believing or knowing the words that she was saying through her destiny that she willingly told you for free. All right, and I forgot what you answered, but what do you think about destiny and free will? I remember you said you believe in choices and not free will. No, if I said that, just know I don't remember what I said yesterday because I'm focused on today. But if I said that, just know I don't believe what the fuck I be saying either, because I'm neither right nor wrong anyways. So, for one, I don't believe in anything because I know that these two things don't exist. Let's get into the video. All right. Because for one, I don't believe in choices either because, I mean, I actually kind of have to though, because we came here for a reason. You chose to be here. Like, nobody just told you to come down here for no reason. Like, that wouldn't be fair. You chose to come here. That's why you have a soul contract, for a reason. Now, you gotta understand too. So how I feel about destiny and free will. And then what else you said? Okay. And why I also talked about choices and free will. I don't believe in either. I don't believe in any three of them because they're illusions. Because the thing is too, your choices aren't even chosen. Like, your choices aren't even chosen, literally. Meaning, like, for one, even though I just said earlier that you chose to come down here, spiritually, you never had a choice to be anywhere because you're everywhere. So what are you choosing to be? Actually, no, fuck that. Where are you choosing to go? Where are you choosing to reside your energy at? Because no matter what, your energy is everywhere. So whatever you choose to willingly do for free, that's your destiny, because your destiny technically is infinite. So there's no such thing as destiny, because for one, if you put a cap on destiny or what you think it is, you are limiting your ego or your potential, and your potential is unlimited. So that's why free will came into play, because they tell you, oh, you are willingly to do this for free, but freedom is still enslaved to itself if you're not aligned with your higher self. You are a representation of a divine script in which is handled by a higher force in plural. Their whole life is numbers to synchronize their fate. This is for people who are basically, that's exactly why too with the guide stones, when it said 500 million, you understand? These are the people who know their destiny. So, and I say script too because don't forget, when you understand gematria, that's when you're able to synchronize numbers, because these numbers determine your fate, because you were born to not follow the script of people's choices. So you go against the grain because your destiny is to be different. That's all it is. It's like, it's just you being different. It's a part of your order. And the thing is too, you're a character. So it's like, even when people get bashed with gematria, because people will still get exposed, the thing is, we can't blame them for following an unconscious script that the Almighty gave them. That's exactly why I can't sit here and get mad for people for what they do. But what I do help people with is guide them into understanding that people are following a script that when it gets revealed into the enlightenment of this awakening, even in year of completion, you can't get surprised by what you're seeing in the year of completion, because now everything is complete for you to still get knocked right back down into the year of the one. So the way it goes, you're gonna go right to the beginning of an ending. So it will never stop. You will never stop awakening. It's the exact same process from the one dimension to the ninth dimension. So we're in the eighth dimension spiritually, but people don't understand dimensions mentally. So therefore, the people who understand their destiny in this time period right now, you don't have to come back to this bitch, because this transcends your, you know, those basic questions: what's your goals in life, what's your purpose in life, you know, where you want to be in 5 years. When you know this transcends all those teachings. So you can say, for one, my destiny is to do what I'm doing right now, get people to understanding the rabbit hole of Almighty God's ignorance that we are stuck believing is actually faith. We follow the free will ignorance. That's what keeps us willingly wanting to follow freedom. Freedom keeps us ignorant. You have to know that you're free, not believe in free will. That's why free will don't exist to itself either. Once we understand that, that's my purpose or my destiny, to help people understand how to get to the consciousness of what heaven feels like mentally. Heaven is a mindset, not a fucking place that you go to. It's a feeling. It's a way of being. You have to be in heaven to know what heaven is. You gotta see heaven, sleep in heaven. You gotta make your life peaceful for what you want it to be. You make heaven. Heaven does not make itself. Heaven did not know it was called heaven till we started reading and writing in English and Arabic, Sumerian, all these different hieroglyphs and cuneiform. Till niggas started writing, that's when we started becoming more ignorant. Free will, an unconscious reflection of a human's ability to make choices that would align or be misaligned to a plan from divinity. Understand that too. From divinity. Now, I understand the perspective of free will. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in destiny either. Because your destiny does not know it's destined to be that purification that it wants to be. So destiny does not know what it wants to be. You have to make destiny know how destined it is to be great. And it's destiny. Free will. Free will does not know, willpower does not know how free it is. So you have the power to do what you willingly want to do for free. That's exactly why it's a human's ability to make choices that would align or be misaligned to a plan. First of all, what is your plan? If you have no plan, then you're going to follow free will. You're on autopilot. When you're on, this is basically autopilot. Like you have no consciousness with free will. Because you are willingly, not saying you, but the subconscious mind thinks that it can do things just because it has free will. Once somebody told you that one time, the programming said, okay, I got free will to do whatever I want, so I'm just going to do whatever. So if I want to live comfortably, I got free will to do it, right? Not necessarily though, my brother. What is your destiny in life? What do you want to do? What's your purpose? Why are you here? You don't know your plan for divinity because you're misaligned with your alignment. You're not aligned with your higher self. So you unconsciously will reflect an unconscious ability that you choose to make. That's exactly why choices are underlined, because you choose to follow the path of ignorance because you believe in free will. When you follow destiny, because you have to follow these programs to even come up with them. When you follow destiny, you know what you're doing in life. You're here so you can go back home because you know a higher force is amongst you your whole entire life. And you are a representation, like you are a skinwalker for a higher force that is handling and puppeteering your life through numbers to synchronize your fate. Because you are their sacrifice. We all are sacrifices to them. But some people are scared of that. So when they understand that perspective, they go right back to bed and they start just coming up with just unconscious plans and blame it on God. God put me in this situation, so I'm comfortable being in it. I got free will, right? You're not wrong for saying that, so if you believe that, keep being a bum by believing in free will. Because when you're abundant in your successful lifestyle, it's because you're putting your faith and what you love in harmony by thinking years ahead of when you're going. That's how much you have to work on yourself. This is for the people who want to work on themselves. This is for the people who just want to flow in life and do nothing at stagnation. Balance. Destiny is a provider towards any path, and free will pushes us into how we will walk in this journey. Understand that. Destiny is a provider. Because this spirit is providing you towards a path. That's the thing too. When I say provider, it's providing you into a path of finding that balance with these two things. Because they are, for you to even balance them out, you have to understand what path you want to walk on. Because for one, it's a path. But you can choose to balance that path. Because either way it goes though, I don't believe in it, but I still walk in both paths. So I don't believe in the programming, but I'm still walking in both programmings. Because I freely can do what I want to do my willpower, because I'm determined to know my destiny, because I make it up. And that's exactly why free will pushes us into how we will walk in this journey. That's them coming together. Once you put them both together, you know what path you're walking on. Literally. You don't want to walk on just one or one. No, put them together. Now you're on the same exact path into one. So you don't have to fight against two paths and walking on the third path. No, put them together. Now, in this journey, your choices will mold experience. So think about that too. Mold experiences that will shape our journey. This is to choose. Don't forget, choices are destiny. That's exactly why too. I stated earlier, I choose my destiny because destiny does not know that it can choose how destined it wants to really be. It doesn't know that because destiny doesn't even know about free will, and free will don't know destiny. But then when you make them meet together, now you got the balanced perspective. They are both able to mold you through an experience that it can help you choose your destiny, because you know, for one, no matter what, you know that you have a plan from divinity, but what you do with that mindset puts you into destiny. That's exactly why now, when you understand these three concepts, now we got this. Growing up spiritually, because we all had to unlearn what we were taught at a young age, because we chose to listen to what we were taught and then accept that program. We had to dissolve all the programs that we were taught and then relearn new programmings. Gaining wisdom comes from putting both illusions together so the mind can freely be a servant to almighty guidance. Here's the thing. You have to gain that. It's not given to you. You have to gain it. You can't say that I'm going to be a great player, I'm going to be a great architect, I'm going to be a great artist, I'm going to be a great mailman, and not be wise in the mail department. You can't say that you're going to be a wise, lawnmower company and not gain the wisdom on lawn mowing companies and what people like, how they want their yard trimmed. You don't know the grass structure or texture. All that is important. So you have to gain that by putting in the work of information and learning, because don't forget, if you know this and this together, you are choosing to learn information by going within internally to connect a nation of your atoms together so they can evolve into more downloads for you to be destined to start giving out to society, because you're living in a world full of balance in your mindset, because you're flowing at a higher state of mind, because you freely choose to do that, because you were destined to do that by a higher force that is guiding you through growing up spiritually by almighty guidance. Almighty guidance controls all of this. Never forget that. That's the hive mind, literally. So you are literally controlled by a hive mindset. It has to govern our mindset through mind control. And that's how deep mind control gets. You believe in a God. Would you believe in God if you knew it was enslaving you mentally? Then we start questioning what God we talking about now. So from putting both illusions together, and then the mind can freely be a servant. Because the thing is too, you have to remove your ego to even be a servant for Almighty guidance. Basically, that's exactly why when you're following this, people will be a servant of your following. They'll literally bow down to how dominant your mind is. That's why people become famous for understanding how they grew up spiritually. Because you're tapped into a higher dimension that most people cannot comprehend physically. Because they know that now you are not just a human anymore. You are like, we treat you like God, but we don't call you that. It boosts your ego. But we look at you like God because only God can guide that person right there. I don't know who's following that person, what they're destined to do, but by these numbers, man, they destined for something great. I'm going to follow their lifestyle on social media. That's why people choose to follow people and be misaligned with their purpose, because they're too distracted by somebody else's life that they spiritually grew up in. Niggas gotta wake up, which is that simple. Once you free your mind from a program, you don't gotta be a servant to nobody but your own almighty creator. Once you remove the ego, you will now bow down to almighty guidance. That's when once the almighty is touching you, you feel that radiance, you feel that all that energy, all that it's overwhelming, but it's overwhelming of joy and love, unity. Once you become one with the divine oneness, or just infinity, once you become one with infinity through love, all that, you basically bow down, you say thank you, puts his hand right there, you're going to feel the spirit surge right through you. Boom, the almighty's now observing you and guiding you through love, because you are now able to listen outside your mind. because you went outside your mind's mindset, and you went outside your body because you was destined to do that. That's why I tell people, not all of us are human beings. That's why I tell you about astral projection, lucid dreaming, because once you leave your body, even through psychedelics or even through death or even through just near-death experience or OBE, once you leave your body at night as well, you can see these people, you can see everybody for what they are. Once you understand that and you lucid dream, you are now able to go in a dream and physically still do this, do what you're doing, but you are still controlling that lucid dreaming of an astral experience. Once you're in that higher realm of the 60 through 90 spiritually, because you're not physically, you transcend physicality, but you are still a physical being in a higher realm, in your lower realm. Once you know that, you can see people and where they came from and how they got this illusion to correlate into the now. So these niggas are literally quantum jumping realms, and they're wearing our skin, and they're infiltrating our communities, and we praise them for it because we don't know who they're guided by. That's why I am here to guide you into knowing how deep existence gets, because these people that exist with us do not exist with us. That's exactly what they said on the guide stones, 500 million. Once humanity goes behind that, because humanity to me means unity. Once human mindsets come together in oneness, they will have to kill us. They had to destroy that infinite love. They also put infinite in there. If we had those together, nigga, we run the simulation again. That's why when they kept killing us off, and the thing is too, those guide stones were already destroyed. Before they were destroyed physically, they were already destroyed. People just now caught up to that. But that's why you gotta do your own research. But they've been destroyed for a reason, because they understood that we're in a year of awakening. So even the year for next year, they knew that, for one, people are going to free their minds because they're going to become the servants of the Almighty Creator, because they're going to go through so much trauma, so much tribulations. They want to get better. They want to find themselves again. They're going to want a better lifestyle for themselves. And they're going to start knowing more about their enslavement mentally from higher orders. So once they know that, we'll know our destiny. And then we'll start balancing free will through our choices, because we choose to follow our destiny because we create it. Once that happens, now we just also got examples. That's just basically into this teaching, but surviving. So basically, when you're in your destiny, you know your heritage and you're surviving for your ancestors because you know your background. You are healing yourself because you are a visionary. By being a visionary, no matter what time of the night it is, no matter what time of the day it is, your vision is focused. You have tunnel vision because you are talented. Your talent matters, and you're not using it for waste. So you're literally putting focus into your goals, and you're giving out opportunities to people because you're able to change lives, because you are a loving mentor. That's your destiny. You are surviving. You know it's tiring. I'm tired, but this is my destiny. This is what I created for myself. You think I'm finna stop? You got talent. So make that music. Be a mentor. Be loving. Now with free will, choices, willpower, being self-determined, intention, truth, life, information, control, freedom, actions, being creative, exploring, decision-making. These are things that we choose, because this is the number one thing. These are things we choose to follow because of willpower. We know we got willpower, but it ain't deep enough because we're not self-determined. We're not determined to find our destiny, so we never gonna find it. But spiritually, when you know that you have love for Almighty God, like when you actually understand words, spells, when you understand magicians, when you understand, like if you study the Satanic Bible exposes sorcery, alchemy, it exposes witchcraft, warlocks, it exposes why it's a demonic Bible, and people are scared of that. That's why motherfuckers aren't awake yet. Once you understand duality, you understand why an atheist is thinking like an atheist. You understand why a Christian thinks like a Christian. You understand why people have gematria scripts. You understand why people will be getting exposed for years on end. But people still will follow them because that's their lifestyle, that's their plan. And the thing is too, people are babies spiritually. So you have to follow somebody that they knows how life already is. That's why they want to find their destiny. So to find their destiny, they have to see somebody who's actually walking and learning and working in their destiny or their destined purpose that they choose to live in every single day, because they found balance in their lifestyle. Because all these higher forces are providing a balanced lifestyle for their journey to mold them to a better person. So to answer your question, I don't believe in destiny or free will, because for one, if they don't even know that they exist, how do I exist in their existence? I had to choose to find my destiny by choosing and willingly, I keep messing that word up, willingly wanting to do free choices that I want to find purpose in. Because I love and care for my existence. So even though I don't know that I'm existing in existence spiritually, my destiny was always to just willingly do what I want to do for free. So because of that, I create my own destiny. And I can do that for free whenever I want. It don't cost me nothing. Just do it. No Nike. So I don't believe in them, but I walk in those paths through balance. Like, I know they exist physically because of titles. That's the only reason why they exist, because of titles. But spiritually, they don't exist in me. Once you go past the observation of realms, everything is ignorance at that point. Like, everything past that is ignorance. Like, once you reach that, information doesn't exist, because you are every information that's known to man and spirit, deities, all of that. You don't care anymore, because it doesn't serve you any good, because you are basically the good and the bad that don't care to be good and bad. You're just there. So hopefully this helps somebody out there to find your destiny, create it. What do you want to do in life? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to be? What are you? Once you do that every single day, you have choices to make. You can work that job if you want. They give you free will to leave whenever you want. You're not gonna have no money coming in, but you choose to do that because you got willpower to keep on going. But is it still willpower when you're freely enslaving yourself to doing better, but you choose to not do better because you're comfortable? Create your own existence. If you believe in free will, you got a free will to know your destiny. If you don't know it, you'll reincarnate to know it again. This don't exist either. That's why you create your own existence. What will you be in existence? What will you create through destiny? You got a choice to make. So what choice will you make? Have a great day, God and Goddess.
What?